right. So, believe the last place we left off, the party had made it with their various traveling companions to the destination of where they were to fight this great kind of elemental horde. And after getting there and fighting some of the elementals, um, the druid, a person that some of the party members have met in the past, appeared and kind of gave a little bit of a warning. It was a little too late, though, as several Sahuagin suddenly attacked the um, first mate of Karos's ship. Drock just seemed to jump off the ship and attack the seemingly invisible gargantuan elemental creature and started some kind of wrestling match with it, which was weird to watch. At the same time as the Sahuagin attacking, a large tentacled beast, a kraken, also attacked the ship, which the druid decided that he would deal with that while the party dealt with the Sahuagin. Um, After fighting the Sahuagin for a little bit, it seemed that the ship started to kind of lose some of the magical enchantments on it. It seemed to be dead in the water, while also the party started to drift off of the deck of the ship. At which point, well, I think it was right after you guys killed the Sahuagin was when this started happening, as the ship started to get crushed by the invisible elemental creature. And seeing that, there was a disturbance as the seafloor just seemed to rise up underneath the ship, taking the ship, the elemental, the party, and everyone else in the nearby area up to the surface of the sea. And now that you're all kind of situated, you see that it looks to be like a brand new island archipelago that just seemed to sprout out of the seafloor, just rising right up to the surface. And now that you're no longer in the ocean, the party was able to see the water elemental creature that needed to be defeated. Luckily, they didn't have to fight it themselves, as the first mate Drock, now somehow growing to an equal size of the elemental creature, just grabbed onto it and kind of threw it back into the ocean before going to rejoin it. And I believe that is where we last left off, with the party kind of collecting themselves after the crazy shit that just happened in that last fight. You can see that the ship, now kind of falling apart, is completely beached on the side of one of these newly made islands. And you can see, kind of looking off in the distance, there's still some fighting going on between the druids and the Sahuagin, although it seems like the druids are doing better than the Sahuagin, especially now that they're out of the water. What would the party like to do?
Was everybody okay after the fight?
I mean, looking around, Jax looks a little beat up, and I'm not sure what you're looking at. I'm actually not even looking at the ship map at the moment. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, Jax looks a little beat up. Ophelia looks a little beat up. And you, Dark, also look a little beat up.
Beat up.
Yeah. But I think that's about it. Everybody else seems to be pretty fine.
What time is it?
What time is it? Like,
yeah.
It's the middle of the day. Seems to be.
thinking we could either take a short rest, or I have one last spell I could use to heal a group of us. Then
Short rest, maybe.
that kind of puts me out for my more powerful spells.
I would definitely take a look around just to get our bearings of what's around us.
I say we take a short rest.
Well, yeah, but I'd still like to know, if
Yeah.
anything's on the
Yeah.
beach or wherever we're at.
Yeah.
So sounds like short rest while also kind of just looking out onto the beach side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, as you are taking your short rest, kind of collecting yourselves, you can see that, like I said, there's still some fighting going on. Spark kind of goes off by himself to where some of the wounded Ashari druids are kind of collecting themselves to offer his services, while Jax, always one for a fight, just goes running off towards the fighting to help out in any way she can. And it's during your short rest that you start to hear a commotion coming from the wounded side of where all the Ashari are.
We'll get up. We're heading over there.
Yeah.
All right. So you head over to where the commotion seems to be coming from. And you can see that there's a large group of people forming. Several of the Ashari have kind of scrambled over to see what's going on. You also notice a lot more Tritons than you originally saw. And you start to notice that these Tritons are not the same Tritons that were with you on the ship. You see women and children, and also a couple elderly, kind of scrambling around. Some of the Ashari are tending to these Tritons as well. And as you start to kind of make your way through the crowds of people, the crowd of people, you come to a kind of gruesome looking sight. That actually, Farron is the first person to see it, and he just says no, and he kind of like runs forward, and after he runs forward, you can see what he saw, and laying on the ground, kind of like in the center of this crowd, you see the semi-mutilated remains of Sariel, his wife.
That's not good. Oh god.
Ophelia will rush over and see if she can do anything.
Raise right behind her.
Yep. Basically, everyone who can heal goes to said dead.
Well, as you run forward to offer whatever healing you can muster, you quickly realize it's not really going to do any good. Surprisingly enough, actually, Sariel is still alive. Somehow, her voice very weak. None of you can really hear it as Farron kind of runs up to her and starts clutching what's left of her in his arms. She kind of like tries to say something to him, but none of you can catch it. Now that you're closer, you can see that it looks as if she's almost been cut in half. Her entire lower body is just missing, and there's some gross innards kind of laying on the sandy ground below what's left of her.
She straight up just lost her legs.
Pretty much, it's kind of like from the waist down, there's just like nothing. As well as part of one of her arms is also gone.
I feel like just he's going fuck.
I don't think greater restoration will help this.
No.
Don't think
Uh,
As you're all standing there in silence, some of you muttering to yourselves, trying to think of something you can do in this situation, you hear a voice from behind you say, "Well, that was kind of a hard fight. So, what's everybody doing?" And you see the druid coming up behind all of you, and as you kind of turn to face him, opening up a path, he now also sees the sight ahead of you, and he says, fuck. Oh, hold on, I can fix this. And he kind of runs forward, and kind of kneels down besides Farron, and lays, kind of like puts his hands on Sariel's like shoulder and says a spell, except nothing happens. And you see a look of confusion on his face, like, what? No, that should have worked. And he says does the spell again, and once again nothing happens. And then he seems to take kind of like a closer look at her, and then he looks up at Farron, and there's like a moment of realization on his face, and then he looks over at you all, and he yells, "No!" And there's kind of like a wave of energy that comes out from him, and you notice like all of the color just seemed to fade away. All of the people standing around you just start to go motionless. Sariel is like going to reach up for Farron's face, but her hand just stops. You see tears going down Farron's face, and the tears just stop in midair, and suddenly you're just standing amidst all these frozen people. Only the four of you can seem to move, except for the druid. He also is standing there, and he looks at all of you sternly, and he just says, "What's happened?"
I wish I knew more. I'd have to take a look at what's happened to her more intensely to get her bearings.
we played a game we should not have ever gotten involved in. It was our price.
He kind of like rushes forward and looks at all of you, like kind of like he's staring into each of your souls, and he's like, damn it, I know what this is. This is something that shouldn't be possible anymore. How did it happen? How did it happen?
I followed a voice I should not have been following, and I led my party to a place we never should have been.
You're still
Right.
stuck on the fucking... You're
Yes,
still stuck on that place?
yes, I am. 'Cause
Right, it's not your fault.
I mean, I understand that it is and it isn't, but like it or not, we know that this is because of what we did down there. This is the repercussion of our actions. The Hierophant and Manning, and your brother Dark, and now this, and it's because of the choice that we made, ourselves or someone we love. And here we all are now.
Can I make a medicine check to see exactly what assess the damages, the wounds, and all that sort of thing? Like
Oh,
how
to
exactly
Sariel?
she got to this to this.
Sure. Make a medicine check.
First roll of the new year.
Whoop whoop.
And we're off to
Nice.
a wonderful
All right.
start. Used up all the good rolls for the year.
Taking a closer look at her now, you kind of like can see where the flesh is cut. It's so like freshly cut. It's as if she got like sheared in half by like a magical like fork. The cut is too perfect. Like no blade or anything could have made. Literally, like she got cut in half by like just a line of magical force.
Am I able to assess whether or not any of my magics or my party members or the druids could help this, or is it just not letting us?
Well, you can make an Arcana check to spell that might help in the situation. All right. Let me just double check what level the spell is. You would know there is a spell that's a bit outside of your power that has the to restore body to a creature, limbs,
I'm imagining currently I would not have access to that spell.
point it takes a couple minutes to do it. And you saw the druid trying to cast something, and with that check, you can probably guess that's what he was trying to cast on Sariel to save her life.
And even he wasn't succeeding.
You do know as well with that check that this effect that you're all kind of in the middle of, where like just nothing seems to be moving, is an even higher form of magic past that. Magic that only the most skilled spellcasters and otherworldly creatures can cast. However, the little bit you have heard of this high level spell, it usually doesn't last this long. In fact, it's been like almost a minute now, and it's still going. Much longer than any recorded amount of time that this spell usually lasts.
Out of character, I'm assuming it's time stop.
Yeah, at a character, it's time stop, but time stop at max usually only lasts about 5 rounds. It has been well over 5 rounds by now.
This is like some beyond 9th level magic here.
Something like that. Well, the good news is I think I can still save her. The bad news is we have to do something about it.
What?
We have to go somewhere that mortals aren't meant to go, at least not in physical form.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Does it involve plate or travel?
Kind of. What it involves first, before we can go, though, is I need to put all of you to sleep.
All right.
Okay. I'm
All right.
willing to. Well, in Fern's wife, I'm willing to do anything to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want
Absolutely.
to have another one.
Anything we can do to help.
All right. I should warn you though. When we arrive, we may not be all together, and you may not be in the same form that you're used to.
Right.
It's also not safe for people to travel. Like I said, it's not meant for mortals to go to. So you're going to want to be careful while you're there. I recommend not talking to anyone.
Yep, it's generally the advice I follow in real life too. Okay.
All right. Great. Well,
Wait, if we're not going to be in our normal forms and we're not supposed to talk to anybody, how are we going to know if we are each other?
I think we'll know when we see each other.
But if we're not our normal forms, how would we?
Yeah.
That's a good point. Oh, here. This will help. And he real quick casts a spell, and he says, you hear his voice in your mind. Can you all hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
I hate that feeling, but sure, I can hear it.
All right.
Thanks.
We're all telepathically linked. The range on it isn't. Well, actually, I think it might actually be the full fucking plane. Let me double check. Oh.
Apparently, this plane isn't that big either.
The communication is possible over any distance. Okay, never mind. While we're there, we should be able to speak with each other telepathically. There's no range cap on it, so it's fine. So that will help us be able to communicate both while we're apart and together.
Right.
Before we go, is there any other questions?
Nope.
Let's go.
All right. Good luck and be careful. And he snaps his fingers, and everything goes dark for all of you.
And he can't sleep.
Kinda.
And it would have been nice for us to sit down first because we all just into the ground. Asshole.
It's okay. It's soft sand.
Yeah, it's soft
14
sand.
points of damage. Dark is unconscious. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. That's funny. All right. So, I would like the four of you to all roll a d20 real fast.
All right.
Cool.
I'm afraid to roll.
Yeah, the last time I did this, I had to roll something like this. I got stuck in a giant orb of water with an aboleth. So.
I literally rolled the absolute average.
Oh, that's funny.
At least it was average.
Let's see. So we've got Ray first. Followed by Morgul. Followed by Dark. Followed by Ophelia. Alright. So, Ray, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
Oh boy.
This is my favorite. So good at that.
Nice.
Yay.
Alright, Ray. So, when you open your eyes, you seem to be sitting in a small room, and as you take a look around to collect your thoughts, you recognize this room. This is one of the small classrooms that you used to study in with all the other kids at the orphanage.
Is there anybody else in here with me?
Yes, you can see several. There are several kids in this room with you. There also seems to be a priestess woman that is teaching the class, and as you realize this, you kind of look down at yourself, and you are back to your normal 12-year-old self, back at when you were a kid.
Oh, gonna die.
Is there anything like what is do I notice anything like odd or like out of place?
No, it seems just the way you remember it. Um,
No, nothing odd at all.
yeah, nothing odd at all.
Gone from being in my 30s to being 12.
For succeeding on your intelligence saving throw, you also remember everything else in your life that happened. So that's good.
Fucking weird.
Oh boy.
So you reverted to your 12-year-old self physically, but not mentally.
Cool.
And as you realize this and collect your thoughts, you you're kind of zoning out, thinking about this is broken as the priestess says, Ray, did you hear my question?
I'm sorry. I drifted off for a second. Can you please repeat the question?
It's your turn to read your book report.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
God.
All right. Do I have a book report in front of me?
Yep. And as you look down, it's this. You kind of recognize the book report, like it's a real distant memory. From a long time ago, when you were 12 years old. It's the exact same book report you wrote back in the day. However, your memory of it seemed to degrade over the last couple decades, and you don't remember everything about it.
I'm assuming that I would know if I was expected to just like stand up or go to the front or
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
You're
do
supposed.
whatever
Yeah,
is expected of me.
yeah. You stand up and kind of get ready to give your reports. Take it away.
So I did my book report on can I look down? Do I see a title or anything?
What the hell is going on?
Book reports.
You look down at the book report, and as you start to read it, you notice the letters just start to like shift around, and you can't read it anymore.
All right. I did my book report on on a uh, on a scroll I read about the plane of water and its main city, the city of glass, and um I as I flip through pages, is it all just gibberish?
Yep. You quickly start flipping through the pages, and the words just are moving around, and now the words are actually starting to come off of the paper and are like spiraling around your head. And you start to hear like whispers around the classroom that are just a little too loud. Just like how like you're surprised you can hear all of them, and you just like all your classmates are just like, I don't think she did her report. What is she talking about? I don't understand.
Oh no.
Worst nightmare ever.
I think I've lived this nightmare.
I think I've
She
had
stands
this
in the front of
nightmare.
the class.
I think
like
I had this
gif.
nightmare last night.
So the city of Glass is located deep under the water, and it's broken up into multiple districts, and each district is responsible for a different type of like business or trade.
Ray, honey, did you
Yeah,
not do your book report?
I I did. I read it and I wrote it, but it I don't
Let me see your report real quick.
I hand her my report.
Ray, this is a blank piece of paper.
No, but I wrote it.
Real question is, can we hear this?
Ray, you know what we said about never lying.
I'm I'm not. The words were there when I was sitting, and then I got back up and I came to the front, and then all of the words
Well, Ray, if you're just going to keep on telling these outlandish stories, I think that means that it's time for you to take a timeout. And you feel the ground just kind of give way underneath you, and you're just falling forever.
Oh,
This is
cool.
her life now.
Ray's dead. Maybe
Bye, guys.
character.
And Ray, as
Oh,
you're
shit.
as you're
Another
falling,
Crawling King episode.
you just you just kind of come to the realization like, wait, what the hell am I doing? I'm a 30-something-year-old woman. I don't know how old you are. This is all fake. What the hell? What do you do?
I realize that I'm a 30-something-year-old woman that has wings. And
Yeah, you realize now that you have wings. Imagine
As
she's
she's trying
falling
to read
for a
the
good
imaginary
minute,
book
and then
report.
she's like, "Oh, right, I have wings."
listen, her
All right.
intelligence not that
And with
high.
that, you sprout your wings and you wake up. Morrigal, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh god.
All right. There's a 50-50 chance my childhood is either enslavement or the time where I'm first.
I'm
You
dreading
can
my
also not
childhood.
remember.
I'm gonna be hunting with my brother.
You'd be so sad.
Honestly, Morgul doesn't want to remember his childhood. That was hell.
All right, Morgul.
11. It's probably average at
As you open your eyes, you're running. You're running down a corridor. You're being pulled along by your hand, and you see running ahead of you. You see your father. You're in total darkness, but luckily, thanks to your drow senses, you have.
It looks like very light gray.
Yeah, it's all different shades of gray that you could see out for a while, thanks to your superior dark vision, and you can hear what sounds like the quiet pitter patter of feet behind you as the two of you are being chased, and your father turns to kind of like looks back at you, and he motions with his hand in the sign language kind of sign language speech that all drow know that you need to run faster. We need to go. We need to get away.
On instinct, because he hates this part of his childhood, he's gonna just keep moving, even though he knows that he's like a 20-something and human.
No, you don't know that. You are a young boy in both mind and body.
Oh god. Then Morgul's just gonna keep running
Oh.
because he knows that his vindictive mother's behind them.
And you do so. You and your father continue to run for what feels like miles, and then suddenly you feel the ground just kind of give beneath your feet, and you're tumbling down through a rocky tunnel away from your father. You slipped out of his grasp, and now you just find yourself alone in the darkness.
It's just a complete dark area, right?
Yes, like you can still see it. I'm not saying like darkness like the spell. Like you can still see, but now you're completely alone and you have no idea where to go. It's just different small tunnels leading away from this chasm that you just fell down through.
You sort of, Morgul goes to the realization that he's by himself and he's alone, and he sort of is quietly saying his father's name, trying to hope he'll hear him, and just continuing to move forward. He's just gonna keep moving forward. At this point, he's terrified of what might happen, whether or not he's gonna end up, mother catching up to him and, getting the old timeout, or the drow equivalent, or
And as you move further alone through the dark tunnels, you slip even deeper into your sleep. Dark, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh god.
I believe in you.
I don't.
Great. Morgul gets to really.
Oh, good.
Called it!
Okay.
Called that
If
shit.
y'all thought I was going to be the worst thing that happened to this kid.
Hey, Morgul has to relive hell.
This
I'm
is
about to
going
be
great.
dead.
All right. So, Dark. You're walking through the woods. Your brother told you that you needed to meet him at a previously agreed upon location in order to go hunting. He left early in the morning in order to get set up. He kind of let you sleep in a bit, assuming that you would just find your way there when you got the chance to. You too are both mind and body a young 12-year-old Dark on one of his earliest hunts. And
Hey, this is when I had a sword.
and as you're walking through the forest, you start to notice that you've been walking for a while in your kind of mid-morning haze of just waking up. You seem to just kind of walk off in the direction that you were pretty sure that's where your brother told you to meet him. And now, several hours later of walking through the forest, you realize that you're lost. What do you do?
I have no idea. I probably just start calling out for my brother.
All right, you continue to walk forward through the forest, now a bit more tentatively, realizing that you're alone in the forest and lost. Kind of shouting out your brother's name, but not too loud in case you accidentally draw the attention of something you don't want to find you. And as you are walking along, you hear a troubling sound. It's a growl from a nearby bush. What do you do?
Slowly keep walking and try and get behind a tree. Away from the growling bush.
Go ahead and just make a roll a d20 real quick.
Oh my god. Fuck this new year already.
Wow.
But if
Roll
you
20
keep
hates me.
if you keep going at this pace, you'll eventually get to a 10.
Will I
Again.
though? Will I?
I mean, you rolled a 10 to begin with, and now you're starting back at 1, and you're just going to keep going until you get 10 again before starting back at 1. You'll never go higher than a 10.
Yes, but so far this year I'm at a 66% chance of shit rolls.
Oh, man. All right.
And the 33% chance is actually dead medium rolls.
All right.
This
So-
roll 20 hates me, I swear.
All right. So, as you quietly start moving away from the bush towards a tree to hide behind, you step on a twig, and there's a loud snapping sound. And from that bush, you hear a loud roar. And not even looking to see what roared, you just turn the other direction and go running through the forest. You continue to run. You can hear the sound of whatever lumbering beast is chasing you, making its way behind you. And you're just running frantically through the forest, pine needles scraping against your face and blinding you. And at one point, you stumble down a small hill, but knowing you're in danger, quickly get up and continue to run through the forest. And as you run through the forest deeper into the thicker groves of the woods, you fall deeper into your nightmare. Ophelia, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw. Oh, there it is.
So good.
I may have broken the one
Wow.
rule, but at least I know what age I am.
So you rolled with advantage for some reason and still rolled
I
two
don't even know
fives.
why. Yeah. So whatever.
That is impressive.
Yeah. Didn't even mean to roll with advantage, but doesn't even matter.
You rolled 2 5s.
So I don't remember that we were told not to talk.
You don't remember anything,
Alright.
because, like everyone else,
Just
you,
making sure.
in both body and mind, you are a 12-year-old Ophelia.
This is where Mike thought it was going to be a quick episode tonight, and it's going to turn into a 4-episode session that's just going
I
to go
know.
on of
I was
us
like,
trying to get out of
I
the fucking
thought
nightmare.
more than one of you, like,
Dude,
at
come on.
least one of you made it. Like, I had a plan. My plan was at least one of you made it. So luckily, it's not like, oh, all 4 of you failed. Well, I guess you're all just asleep forever. So
Hope you had a
luckily,
backup
Ray
plan.
succeeded.
Whoa.
I was like, I thought about making it a really hard DC, but I was like, you know what? Let's make it like DC 15. Still kind of hard, but not too bad. Like, a couple of them will
Dark was not
succeed.
going to be able to make that.
Only one. All right.
Roll 20
Well,
works 50% of the time, every time.
Roll 20.
So-
Dark rolls shit all year. Call
All
it
right.
now.
New year, same dark.
all right. So,
No, Dark's getting worse. His attacks are going to start sucking now, too.
hey, I'm trying to DM here.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. So, Ophelia, as you open your eyes, the first thing you feel is pain.
Oh.
Your father is having one of his episodes again.
Oh god.
He's mad, and he's taking it out on you. You're in the dark closet that is your room, and he is just mercilessly whipping you with his belt. Just yelling obscenities and blaming you for things that couldn't be your fault. And after a while, a long while, he seems to get bored of it, and he closes the door to your room, and you hear the familiar sound of it locking in place, and you are left alone, beaten, bleeding in the darkness of your closet room. What do you do?
Can I look under the door or go out a window?
There's no windows, and the door, there's a little bit of a crack below the door, but even straining to see under it, you can only see about like 10 feet out of the door. There's the little bit of a flickering candlelight illuminating the hallway that your closet is on in your father's abode.
Is there any tool I can use to get out of my room? Like, would I know?
Roll a d20.
Okay. Now I roll fine.
Yeah, I know,
What the
right?
shit?
So, you're used to this. You've taken steps against this. There's a number of small scraps of metal that you've fashioned into like bobby pins to keep your dirty hair out of your face, as your father doesn't exactly let you bathe that often. And you know that you could possibly use one of these bobby pins to try to unlock the door.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and just roll me another d20. Ah, nice.
What the fuck is happening?
I stand by my previous statements about roll 20. It hates me. You guys are fine. It hates me.
So, you take the bobby pin out of your hair and go to work on the doorknob, and it's not long before you hear the familiar click of the door unlocking.
Alright, I'm gonna try to slip out unnoticed if that's possible.
All right. You slip out of the room and start making your way down the hallway. And as you are making your way down the hallway, you pass by your father's study, I guess would be the best thing to call it. It's more of a makeshift dark shrine, but it used to be a study. And you can see him kind of mumbling his way through some dark ritual. And lying in the center of the room, you see what looks to be a dirty corpse, recently pilfered from the nearby graveyard.
Alright. I'm just gonna make sure it's not anyone I know, and then I'm gonna keep going out.
All right. Yeah, you don't recognize the corpse, and you continue and get to the front door of this small house. And do you attempt to open it?
Yeah.
All right. That will require another d20 roll
Cool.
to open it quietly. All right. You slowly open the latch to the door. There's a little bit of a squeak but you kind of like tense up and stop moving and wait to hear if there's a response, and you just hear your father continuing his dark ritual and slowly open the door, and you are outside.
Cool. Is it like
It is night, and as you look out the outside of your father's house, you can see the cemetery that your house is right next to.
Cool. Should go to the cemetery.
All right. So you go into the cemetery. What do you do in the cemetery?
Oh, just like look at the graves. Waste time. Probably sit around and mumble to like one of the gravestones or something.
Mm-hmm.
So normal Tuesday for you then.
Yeah, normal Ophelia day.
Yeah, normal Philly day.
Nothing's changed, guys.
At least yours is normal.
A couple after like 10 minutes or so of your just kind of loitering around the cemetery, you hear a loud shout from the house. You hear your father's voice yell, "Where the fuck did she go?"
She's gonna hide behind one of the gravestones.
All right, roll another d20.
Well,
All
rest
right,
in peace, Ophelia.
you go and kind of a large gravestone that you think can hide your adolescent form, and as you wait there, kind of in tension, waiting to see what happens. Really, you don't hear anything right away, and as you kind of look around the gravestone to see if your father is coming for you, you see your father kind of looking around around the cemetery, and then he sees you in that split moment and says, "There she is, get her!" And
She's gonna take off, like with her
and-
wings.
Fly, Ophelia, fly!
Fly!
and you go flying away, and kind of looking over your shoulder, you can see shambling after you is the reanimated form of that corpse that was lying on the inside of your house. And as it shambles towards you, several more corpses seem to rise from the graveyard itself and meandering their way towards you, and you just continue to fly away into the night sky and deeper into sleep. So, Ray,
Yeah?
wake up, find yourself a strange vista that the land around you is distorted. You see random pieces of architecture and nature sprouting from gray cobblestone and unworked stone and gravel, and yet there doesn't seem to be any like concrete form to it. Like you see like a large kind of almost like mound just kind of floating in the air. Another area that you're on just kind of spiraling away into the ether, kind of ever-present green haze that just fills this entire space. And as you look around, you notice you're sitting on some cobblestones, except that the cobblestones themselves are a lot larger than you expected. And as you look down at your feet, you see you have these furry feline feet in front of your face. And you realize that you are some kind of feline creature, specifically an ocelot.
Oh my god.
Cool.
And then I've got a picture for the Can you
Cool.
see the vistas?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Does it look like there's any sort of like path I can follow?
The mound that you are a part of seems to be kind of twisting off in a random direction. You could possibly follow it. There seems to be like a small trail of cobblestones that you might be able to follow, and they might take you somewhere.
Looking around, I don't see anybody else around me.
There is no one around you now.
Can I try to think at the druid?
All right. You think, Druid, are you there? And you hear in response a voice say, kind of muffled and kind of like the kind of like it's coming towards you through like a muffled like howling wind, and it says, Ray, is that you? Are you all right?
Well, aside from the fact that I seem to be a cat, yes. I think so.
Yes, that sounds strange. So it looks like like I thought, we've all been separated. I don't know where anyone else is. You're the only person that seems to seem to not be affected by this world's effects. You're able to break through, it seems.
I mean, I had a nightmare about a pretty terrible book report that I gave, but aside from that, I mean, I seem to be fine now.
Wow, that seems actually kind of tame by this world's standards.
You know, I didn't get out much as a kid, all right?
Fair enough.
So, I mean, do you want me to wait here, or, what would you like me to do?
Well, the problem with this place is that there's not really an easy way of navigating it. So I guess just find a path, follow it, try to find the others, and hopefully we can meet up somewhere.
All right, I'll start walking forward then.
All right. And did you get the sheet that I sent you?
Yes.
All right, cool. So those are your statistics for your spirit ocelot.
Tiny cat. I can burrow.
Yep.
I like to think as he said tame, the camera just cut to our perspectives.
Yeah.
And everybody else just suddenly stops, looks into a camera in the abyss, and then keeps running.
All right. So, with that, yeah, in your ocelot form, you start
Just a tiny cat.
you start making your way, and you find that a lot of these kind of like drifting earth modes have like these weird like viney tendrils that just kind of snake between them, that you're with your climb speed you're able to easily navigate.
Sweet.
And after wandering for what feels like hours, you notice some forms ahead. As you creep your way forward, kind of darting from cover to cover, you can see that there are several of these kind of weird, almost humanoid looking forms that are kind of like shambling their way across the land. Several of their body parts are like misshapen. One of them has what looks like a weird trunk for an arm that just comes to like a second mouth. One has like this big bulbous leg that's like 5 times as large as its other leg. And they just seem to be like shambling their way across the terrain, not really in any particular direction.
Do any of them look like they're coming towards me?
One seems to be drifting in your general direction, but not specifically towards you. You don't think it's noticed you yet.
Can I try to hide?
Sure. Go ahead and make a stealth check with your spirit ocelot statistics.
Oh,
All right.
shit. I just realized something about my choice in level.
Getting even more of your life choices.
I'm regretting a choice.
So I hide poorly among the stones.
All right. So you find like a crevice to kind of like hide in as this weird amorphous wretch starts just shambles on by, and there's a moment of tension where you're pretty sure it saw you, and yet it just continues to drift on by.
Are they all heading in the same direction?
No, they're all kind of just shambling around opposite directions.
Were any of them going in the general direction I was going in?
Not really, actually. Not the way that you were, not following the path at all.
Then as quietly as I can, I want to go back. I want to keep going down the path and try to stay hidden.
All right. And you just kind of quietly trot on by. None of these creatures seem to see you. And you continue along the path. And it's not long before you find one of these creatures. You find one that's just kind of standing in place, and as you drift closer to see what it's looking at, it looks to be standing at the mouth of a cave that has like wrought iron bars covering the entrance, and on the other side of these wrought iron bars you see sleeping a coiled obsidian snake with just a thin line of silver running down its back from head to tail.
Is it a big snake
Well-
or like a normal sized snake?
It's a normal sized snake.
Can I get any indication if this might be one of my friends?
I'm considering it looks pretty drow.
Looks pretty drow. As you kind of look at it, you don't really. It like you kind of like think at it a little bit, but you don't get like a response at all.
I was about to say, if she could hear my thoughts.
No,
12.
can't hear your torturous thoughts. No. And you do, however, notice that kind of along its sides you see not feathers, but like its scales just seem to give like a slight kind of feathery texture to it. Do with that as you will.
Oh shit.
Can I try to sneak past the thing and slip to the bars?
I was about to say, are you gonna try and snake past them?
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Sneak.
I will server mute you, young man. No. Well, it seems that its full attention is on the snake, and you can't really see a way through the bars without it seeing you. You do, however, notice though that that this cave seems to be off the same cobblestone path that you were walking on, and there's now just kind of loose dirt, just kind of like packed earth at the mouth of this cave. You might be able to burrow underneath the cage.
I'd like to burrow underneath the cage.
All right, and you do so. You scramble and start digging at the dirt. Surprisingly enough, this wretch of a creature doesn't notice you digging right behind it. And about 10 minutes later, kind of trying to calculate where the cave is, seeing how you can't really see where the cage is when you're in the dirt.
With my cat intelligence of 3.
Yeah, well, it's more of a wisdom thing. You pop up out of the ground, making a small hole, and find yourself inside the cage right next to the snake. And now that you're in there, the wretch sees you, and it starts moaning and like shambles forth a little bit, and just kind of like weakly starts like smashing against the iron, but there's no real way of opening the bars, and so it can't get in with you guys. And yeah, the snake is lying there sleeping.
Can I pop the snake on the nose?
All right. As your feline paw bops the snake on the nose, your vision fades, and you find yourself standing in what looks to be an underground cave. Tunnels just stretching in every direction, almost like kind of confusing the way that they go. And as you're looking around trying to find what's like what you're there for, coming around the corner, you see a small child with gray skin, red eyes, and white hair, and
Like 12
Morgul.
years old.
Yeah, Morgul, in your child form, you see this tall, pale-skinned woman. You've never seen any creature that looked like this before.
Answers my question is if am I me or am I a cat? Alright.
You are full you, yes.
Yeah, Morgul's just gonna like hug the side of the wall, just meekly and terrified. As like you've seen Morgul scared, but 12-year-old Morgul is absolutely fucking terrified of his situation right now. And
Am
he's
I
like,
able to hear any
he's
other
like,
footsteps?
he's like,
What?
have you seen my father?
Am I able to hear any other footsteps?
No, you don't hear any other footsteps.
Okay, I'm gonna bend down so I'm eye level with Morgul. I'm gonna say I haven't. I can help you find him, but I'll keep you safe, but I need you to help me with something.
Okay.
I'm looking for some friends of mine. I think that they might be trapped. Oh no, no, no. I'm looking for some friends of mine. I think one of them might be trapped down here. Do you know somebody named Morgul?
That's my name.
Morgul, my name is Ray. You and I traveled together with the Slayer's Take, and you're stuck in a dream, and I need your help, and I need you to try to wake up.
Ray, make a persuasion check with your normal statistics.
Yeah.
If she fails, this is gonna be interesting as fuck.
Listen, I got a +9 to persuasion. Come at me.
All right. As this kind woman speaks to you in hushed tones, you get the sense that what she's saying is true, though outlandish that these statements are. And as she says them, memories start to flood back to you. You remember the time that you.
That's gonna take a while. That's like a fucking.
What's that?
That'll take a bit. That's a fucking L's
Yeah,
worth of fucking.
yeah,
memory.
like a good 100 years just flashes through your eyes in a moment. You remember the one time when you and your father were trying to escape the Underdark when you did get separated, and it was at your darkest hour you heard a strange howling in the tunnels that seemed to uh they scared you, but when you ran away from them, they seemed to just be directing you, and then you just seemed to find your father, and then with your father, the two of you made your way to the surface and lived your lives the way you remember it. And as all these memories flood back to you, Ray, you notice that the tunnels around you just seem to start to fade away, and a moment later, your vision fades, and Morgul, you find yourself in a different cave this time, but instead of the strange discoverment of the Underdark, you find yourself in a rough, packed earth cage with iron bars and a grotesque creature on the other side. Uh, all kind of have this weird lingering green haze around everything, and you find yourself face to face looking at a ocelot, but yet it's a really big ocelot because it's about the same size that you are. And as you notice that, you realize you can't feel your arms or legs.
Oh god, that's gotta be terrifying. It's gotta be fucking freaky as
30
fuck.
seconds ago, suddenly wake up and not have your arms and legs.
Yeah, I go from being a malnourished 12-year-old to being a snake that can't feel arms or legs.
I think at Morgul, it's me, Ray. The druid's around here somewhere. We can communicate with him, but I think I haven't found any of the others yet. But maybe they're trapped in cages like you are. I dug a hole. We could escape behind this weird thing. I've just been avoiding them.
Yeah, you look at this weird thing and it's moaning and weakly banging against these iron bars, but it's not nearly strong enough to break through. But it looks angry.
I think it should be easy enough to avoid. I think worst case scenario, I just keep digging.
That's a good plan. And by the way, thanks. Let's never speak of this ever again.
No problem. Keep it safe.
I would have rather never remembered that.
We all have things we can never remember.
Alright,
And
I will follow her lead.
yeah, and as you try to figure out how you're going to move without arms and legs, you naturally, weirdly, just kind of start moving your body back and forth, and you find yourself being propelled forward as you're kind of slithering across the ground.
Yeah, you sort of Morgul's taking a second to figure out how the fuck do snakes do this.
Yeah, but it seems to come naturally to you, surprisingly enough.
Is it weird not having limbs? I have to ask. I can't help it.
It's a feeling like you think they're there, but They're not.
Oh,
It's weird. It's definitely strange. Let's never speak of this experience ever again.
All right, and right, here are your spirit snake statistics. All right, and with that, you guys go back out the hole that Ocelot Ray made. And as you peek your heads out the hole on the other side, God, I just pictured like a cat and a snake poking their heads out of a hole.
Both adorable and terrifying.
Yeah. It's like, why are they friends?
Listen, it could be worse. Could be a honey badger.
It could be a honey badger. Yeah. As you peek your heads up out of the hole, you see this creature still banging against the iron bars. It didn't seem to notice that you came out the other side behind it. And with that, the two of you start continuing your way along this path that Ray had been following.
And I think out to the abyss. Druid, I found Morgul. He was asleep, curled up in a cave with some iron bars, and there was this weird creature thing, kind of guarding it, not guarding it very well, in my opinion. But I think that maybe the others are still trapped. But
Yes, that creature you encountered, that is called an abyssal wretch. It's the tortured soul of a person that died in their sleep.
cool.
They're mostly harmless, although what forms are you guys right now?
I appear to be a snake of some kind.
And I believe I'm an ocelot.
All right. Well, harmless to how you guys usually are, they might be kind of hard to deal with in your current states. I'd try to avoid them.
Yeah, I can imagine. I
Yep.
don't feel as hardy as I used to.
Nope. Very small.
All right. Well, good luck finding the others. I'm trying to find all of you. This isn't how I remember this place.
And what
Also, keep
is
in mind,
this
I can't see
place?
shit. I've
What's
got
that?
fucking blind. I gotta keep in mind, I can't see shit. I got blind sight 10 feet.
Well, just because you have blind sight doesn't mean you're blind. It's just you don't need to see in order to know what's within 10 feet of you.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, you have normal sight. You don't have dark vision, but you have normal sight. So I guess that's kind of weird to you, not having dark vision.
Yeah.
You're usually the people known for dark vision. But you do kind of just have like this weird kind of like sixth sense that you know where everything within 10 feet of you is.
Okay.
Yeah. And what did you say, Ray? I didn't hear you.
Nope. Just weird. Just a weird
Oh,
experience.
okay. I thought you asked the druid a question. I didn't hear it.
Nope.
All right.
A
Then
weird
never mind.
experience.
All right, and with that, the two of you continue along, and after walking for a while, you find yourselves, you find that a lot of these kind of modes are starting to get larger, a bit more kind of like condensed, and you find that a lot of like the cobblestones are starting to lead towards like what looks to be the fortifications of long destroyed structures, and as you continue along, you find yourselves at what looks to be the ruins of a destroyed castle, and as you kind of look around, you can see that you're across what looks to be like a moat of this destroyed castle. And you can hear several groans below you. And as you look down, you see several of these abyssal creatures, kind of all just kind of like wading through this murky water. And to one side, you can see several of them congregating at what looks to be a small domed metallic cage in the middle of the moat.
You can swim, right?
I mean,
I mean, I can. I don't know about you.
I,
You, Ray, as
well,
you look down at the water, normally water wouldn't be a problem for you, but being in your feline form, you're suddenly having this strange aversion to water you've never had before.
nope. I can climb, and I can dig a hole. Swimming, not so much.
All right. I imagine that might be where one of our friends is. I'll go check. I will stealthily swim through this moat.
All right, go ahead and roll a stealth check with your snake statistics. Did I give you the snake statistics?
Yeah, thankfully.
Okay,
it's
I could
the skill
remember if
that
I did.
have.
All right, yeah.
And I'm just gonna keep a lookout as he's swimming.
All right, as you're keeping a lookout, this black form just seems to glide across this murky water. Like, if it wasn't for the silver strip down its back, you wouldn't be able to really see it, like among this dark, grotesque water. And it just seems to like weave its way through all of these wretches without them even noticing. And before long, it disappears away behind all these moving forms. And Morgul, as you swim through the legs of these gross creatures and through the bars of this cage, you can see lying on a small island in the middle of this cage looks to be a small wolf pup that's sleeping.
I'm going to use my tail and bop it across.
All right, as you bop it across the face, your vision fades and you find yourself in the middle of a dark forest in the late afternoon. And as you're looking around trying to get your bearings, suddenly you see a small adolescent human boy rushing through the trees, and he almost runs right into you. And dark, as you are running away from this strange beast, you collide with this tall, lanky form of a dark-skinned man with long silver hair and red eyes that looks down at you. Kind of freaky looking, actually.
Oh, fuck.
Is this something that I would have been used to seeing?
What's that?
Is this something that I would have been used to seeing? Something that
I
is
mean,
scary?
Clearly a person, but you have never seen a person that looks like this before.
Please hope that he was raised without prejudice.
What do you do, Dark?
Considering that I'm running from something that's chasing me, scaring the shit out of me, Dark is 100% more terrified than that guy in the video I linked. He is just absolute horrified by whatever's chasing him, and then he runs into something that looks like Jason Voorhees in his eyes. I'm literally thinking of 50-50 run the fuck away or hiding behind him.
All right, well, roll a d20, 50-50.
Sorry, but this is what he would do.
Yeah. I will be trying to stop
Okay,
him from running.
1, he will run for his life. 2, he will hide behind you. Called it.
Okay, so
See ya.
the boy kind of like looks at you with wide eyes, then kind of turns a different direction, not the way he came, but like a different direction, and moves to run away from you.
I'm
What do
gonna
you
try
do,
and stop him.
Morgul? All right, how do you try and stop him? Do you try to grab him? Do you cast a spell? What do you do?
Good old hold person.
All right. Um, with your adolescent statistics, Dark, you automatically fail against the saving throw. You feel yourself suddenly frozen, unable to move any of your body parts, and you're
This
just
isn't how it's
standing
supposed to
there like kind of like Heisman mid run away from this dark figure, and you can hear the gruff sound of the creature that was chasing you quickly getting closer.
I'm gonna pick up Young Dark and just start walking in a direction and telling him that, yeah, I kind of need you to wake the fuck up, because this dream sequence that you're having, this isn't normal, and you should be, what are you, like 34?
Yep.
34, helping, some people that you travel with, save a friend's life. So, can you please wake
All
the
right.
fuck up?
All right, Morgul, would this be a persuasion check or an intimidation check? What's it gonna be, buddy?
Because current circumstances, intimidation is probably the go-to for this. Because I can't be persuasive in this instance because something was chasing him that he's terrified. His horror movie thing that he hates the most just appeared in front of him, terrified him, and then cast something on him where he can't move, and now has picked him up and is walking in a direction.
Yeah, that's a good choice, because if you would have chosen persuasion, this would be a disadvantage. So go ahead and roll that intimidation check.
Given the circumstances, would it qualify for advantage?
I'd say because you paralyzed them with a spell, I'll give you advantage.
All right. Apparently, roll 20 is just hating everybody today.
Hooray! Slow roll 20 rolls. That's the best.
Hooray!
All right. So, Dark, as you are picked up by this dark figure and he slowly starts walking away through the woods holding your paralyzed form, he kind of seems frustrated, telling you to wake up from whatever is happening, which seems strange, but because you're so helpless in the paralyzed state, it somehow cuts right through the other fear you had of what was going on around you, and you realize maybe this scary guy has might be telling the truth. And then you realize you kind of recognize this scary guy, and then one by one your memories start to flood back to you over the last 30 years, and as the two of you are walking away, the trees just seem to fade away and your vision fade, and Dark, you wake up, you're on what looks to be a
It
small
wasn't even
island.
bridal style. It was over the shoulder carry.
Yeah. You're sitting in a small on a small island in this like gross dark river with a cage over you, and you can see several of these grotesque monsters that just seem to be like banging up against the metal bars of the cage, and sitting in front of you, looking at you kind of curiously, you see a obsidian snake with this kind of white strip on top of its head, just looking at you casually. Except it's not as small as you would expect. It's the same size as you, strangely enough. Maybe a little smaller, but still. What do you do?
You know how to take time to process your circumstances.
I have no idea. Am I still terrified, or am I starting to calm
You
down a
are
little?
no, you're no longer scared. After realizing it was just Morgul kind of like trying to scare you straight, you're like, oh wait, this isn't real, and you woke up. Although now that you're sitting here with this snake, you kind of look down and you were resting your head on what looks to be furry paws, almost a little too big for your body, and you realize that you are some kind of canine creature.
Let's agree to never talk about that dream sequence ever again.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay, we're all... Apparently, people who didn't... According to Ray, anybody who hadn't, like, cut through the weird effect this world has on people experienced that shit. Sadly enough, she had the tamer of the circumstances. Anyway,
I didn't know what my circumstances were.
Yeah, she didn't tell you.
I thought we were... I thought
You-
on the way we had just, like, you know, talked about what the fuck just happened to each other.
I mean, she would have told you about like maybe she would have said she was in a nightmare, but she wouldn't tell you what the nightmare consisted of.
We agreed not to talk about it.
Yeah.
And Ray's
just-
okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's... Otherwise, I think the rest of us would be pissed at you.
Listen, really public speaking's really traumatic for some people.
Oh man, that's great.
Anyway, Dark. You're in a cage around a moat. You can swim, right?
Doggy paddle.
Okay. You should be able to fit through the bars. Let's at least get across the moat, and then we'll figure out how to go from there. We also gotta find a ferry.
All right, I will be sending you your spirit wolf cub stats in a moment.
Okay, it's gonna take me a minute to
Soon
view
as
because I'm
roll-
restarting one of my browsers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a
Roll
different
20
browser I
is
use.
getting a little weird.
Well, my whole computer's lagging out because I've got so many things running, and the CPU is starting to max out my RAM. So I shut down the
Ooh.
browser and restarted it, and now I'm back down to about half my RAM. So I need to do that once
Yikes.
every night during the session. So it'll straighten out in a minute once it actually loads.
All right.
Well, in the meantime, I'll get that going to you. Let me know when you're in roll 20 though, still, right?
Oh yeah, I'm in roll 20.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
I like how Ray saw me at my worst, and then I just sort of embarrassed the fuck out of Dark in a dream.
It happens. All right. You should have your wolf cub statistics now.
I do.
Cool.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah.
Unless there's anything you like want to tell me, Dark, I think we should just get moving. I don't know how. What other strange shit this place has in store for us?
Is everything okay?
Everything's fine, Ray.
Okay.
What's your opinion?
Just dug another hole, I got bored.
Did you just dig a hole while you were waiting?
I got bored.
All right.
I'm sorry, my nightmare is too boring for you.
I didn't know you were in a night. Sorry, Dark.
It's all right. Not as sorry as I am, though, but it's all right.
Come on,
It's all right. At least his didn't involve, drow fucking enslavement, but we're good.
The only good thing I can pull from that so-called nightmare was that at least I kind of thought my brother was alive at the time.
Oh.
It hurts.
But for all I
Okay.
know is the bear that killed my brother was going to kill me instead of him.
It would have been funny, like ironic, if your spirit animal was a bear cub.
Yeah, I definitely did not choose a bear. I looked into them though. They were close, but not quite.
I knew you weren't going to do a bear. That was
hell
like,
no.
oh hell no.
They rely on
Good.
strength. Dark is not strong.
Well, that and also it's just like hate most.
It would have been like
Pretty much.
immense irony.
Yeah.
I was like, are you gonna do a bear just to rub it in Dark's fucking face?
No, I let you guys pick.
No, I asked Joe that earlier.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, well, let's get across this moat and let's avoid
Well-
shambling things that are moaning.
Yeah. They're still kind of surrounding the cage, and so how are you guys going to get out of this predicament?
I'm gonna like try and, pun not intended, snake my way through them and across the moat.
Okay, so you just leave Dark back in the cage?
I mean, I'll try and find a way for Dark to get out.
All right. You guys look around and you do see there is a latch on the cage, almost like a doggy door style door. But there's
In a
still
fucking
the
kettle, really.
but you're still surrounded by these wretched creatures that can see you. They're kind of still moaning, kind of shaking the cage a little bit.
On a count of 3, you just want to like bolt through that door.
Sure.
All right, so on the count of 3, we end up bolting through the door and trying to
Okay.
get across the freaking moat.
All right. There is one guy that's like right in front of the door. You're gonna have to do something about him.
I imagine I don't have access to any of my clerical magic, do I?
I'm pretty sure I don't
Nope.
have access to my crossbow.
Yeah, you don't have your
I'm a
crossbow.
dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Dark, you got your stats, right?
Oh yeah,
All right.
I can bite.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Your bite has a certain ability tied to it.
Oh, I can knock something down if I try to bite it.
Hey, there you go.
I had to open the window.
My
Oh,
question,
gotcha.
do you get pack tactics?
He does not. No,
I was just gonna check because I was like wolf cub, maybe.
I took that away from him because he's a wolf cub, not a full-grown wolf. Yeah.
So you're saying I should bite at this thing with my wonderful rolls this year?
I will
Couldn't
help
hurt.
you. I can help you.
You
with
want to
the
bet?
bite. I can help you
wolf
with
I've
also
got.
bite.
He can't. Yeah, he can use his action to help you, which would give you advantage.
Essentially, just see a wolf and a snake bite at somebody's legs.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can try that. Open
All
the
right.
door, I'll dart out and try and bite at his ankles.
All right, then yeah, go ahead and roll with advantage. A bite attack.
How do I roll with?
You should just be able to.
You can just click on the bite.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Oh, does it not have like the normal advantage, disadvantage at the top of your thing?
I had to move the screen
Oh,
again.
Yeah, you.
oh,
have it.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, you do have it. I was just saying.
All right, yeah,
But
18
lowest damage.
will definitely hit. Well, I mean, you're not really going for damage. You're going for knocking the guy prone.
Okay, in the
And
stats that you gave me, it says a DC 11 strength saving throw, but that on the screen says 10.
yeah, that's
Below it says
because
11.
yeah, it's
That's so
it's a little different. I guess I didn't. The text still says 11 because that's what it is for a full grown wolf. I just knocked your strength down to a 10 from where it was. It was a 12. So it's a DC 10 because your strength is 10, where the DC usually is 11 because your strength is usually
Gotcha.
12. You get that extra +1 to your ability DC. That's why it's 10 on the roll. I guess I forgot to change that part.
That's all right. It was just a little confusing.
Yeah. All right. So, I will roll a saving throw for him, and he failed. He gets knocked prone, and the two of you just go scurrying out, running away from from these creatures. They start to chase after you, but you notice that they are a bit slower than the two of you. And a couple of minutes later, you find yourselves at back on the top of the moat, and Dark, you see a small feline cat, an ocelot, waiting for you guys at the top of the moat, kind of at the area where the I'm blanking on what's called, the thing that comes down over the moat.
Drawbridge?
Drawbridge, thank you.
But do we see her?
Yeah,
Wasn't
where
she
the drawbridge
burrowing
would
again?
go. What's that?
Didn't she say she was burrowing again?
Oh yeah, there's like a bunch of like little like there's a
She's
bunch of
down
like
in a
little
hole?
like mounds of like
I'm just
small
picturing, like,
holes that she
we
had
see
dug
just the
just
top of her
nervously.
head and ears.
Yeah.
See two cat eyes staring back at us from.
Yep.
Shall we continue?
Yep.
Well, as you look forward, you see that the drawbridge is completely non-existent anymore. You can see there's like an opening where the castle would continue, but the drawbridge that would usually lower has just seemed to decay away. Even the chains that usually kind of like stretch the gap have kind of rusted and fallen. It's at this moment, however, that Dark, with your enhanced canine sense of smell, you smell what seems like kind of a good smell, like someone's like cooking up like a stew, and you can smell it coming from another direction, farther along the moat.
I smell food.
Do we? I don't think it. I don't trust this place. I'm gonna be
I
honest.
don't trust it at all either, but I smell food. It smells like stew.
Can you tell what type of stew?
I don't know.
Yeah, you said you can smell kind of like the spices for like a nice broth, but you can't tell if it's like meat or vegetables yet. You're not sure.
Not quite sure what it is yet, but it smells like home cooking food, and it smells pretty good.
Yeah, it smells pretty good.
Do you want to like go check it out? Just like stealthily do some recon, see what the hell it is, and then
As
get the fuck
stealthily
out
as
of
I
Dodge.
All
I'll
right.
try.
Sure. So, Dark, in your wolf cub form, you start plodding along the edge of the moat, and a bit of a ways around the moat, you can see that at the bottom of the moat, just above the water level, there is what looks to be a small stone landing with a door, and the door seems to be cracked open. and you can tell the smell is coming from the door. Possibly it's a way to get into the castle.
Try and paw my way into the room. Or through the door.
All
Like
right.
if I can grab the door and pull it back, or if I can like push it open, whichever way it goes.
Sure, yeah, you kind of plod your way down into the moat and get across to the landing, and you go to like lift your paw up and like, wait, that's not really gonna work. So you just kind of like shove your head in there a little bit and like nudge it, and the door creaks open a little bit, enough to go in. Do you let your companions know that it's okay to follow?
Well, I don't know if it's okay to follow. What do I see?
You see what looks to be a staircase leading up into a room that seems to be lit by some kind of flame. You can hear the sound of like metal on metal, like someone seems to be preparing some kind of dish.
Well, I'd let him know telepathically, I believe, that I think it's safe, but let's be quiet to make sure.
Alright. Catch up to him. And, make my way in. Stealthily, of course.
Hey, where are you guys right now?
We're near some kind of castle. We
The
found...
castle? Oh, I saw that earlier. I'll start making my way that way.
Cool. Thanks.
Why do I get the feeling he's like some type of bird?
That would make sense.
Either that or he's gonna be the only human being.
He'll be fine.
All right.
Alright, let's, guess go in, check it out.
All right, so you guys go in, and you can see as you go in, there seems to be what for a second you think is a normal person in kind of like preparing a dish in this kitchen. Except when you look closer, you notice that it's not a person. It looks to be a ghost of a rotund man who is cooking away, preparing a stew. And as you're looking through this kitchen, you can see on the counter next to this portly man is a birdcage. And inside the birdcage is the form of a sleeping raven.
Of course. I imagine Morgul's already put two and two together.
Make our way towards
gotta
him
get-
quietly.
Yeah.
Stealth our way through and, get to the Raven.
All right, that will require a stealth check.
Are we all going?
Fuck. It's
How
dark.
do I roll a stealth check? I don't think.
If you don't have the skill, then just roll a dexterity check.
Yeah.
Damn, you rolled 20.
Thanks, guys.
Oh man, you guys are doing great.
Yep.
Makes me feel better.
I
Sorry,
blame roll
Peter.
20.
Everyone's so good at D&D, everybody.
No, everyone's so good at roll 20, guys. We're fine at D&D. It's just roll 20 that sucks.
Going to rescue Ophelia. It's gonna be great.
Oh my god, this is pretty good.
It's gonna be a short session, guys. Lies!
I didn't know how long it would
15.
take. Okay.
You underestimate the power of our terrible rolls, dude.
I mean, I'm having a
Every
good time.
I'm having
Under-
fun too, but damn roll 20.
Underestimate the power Roll20 has to screw over people.
Yeah. But I linked that picture because it says a rotund chef that looks like a ghost. I'm like, well, there you go.
Yep. All right. Well, he definitely notices you.
Of course he did.
That blank stare.
And he turns around, and he says, Oh, great! More food for the master. And starts kind of like wobbling his way towards you guys. What do you do?
Bite him.
Okay.
That's all I can fucking do.
I instinctively
To
want
be
to
fair, that is
dig
the
into
appropriate response a wolf cub would have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
I'm gonna try and make my way to the raven. Like,
All right.
get there somehow with my snake ability.
Oh, I'll do that as well. I'm probably faster than you.
Yeah, she's got a climbing speed, so she just jumps right up onto the counter. And you kind of go slithering around that way as the wolf cub just goes running up and goes to bite the ghost in the ankle, I guess.
You go for the junk.
At the ghost.
So
Go for
that
the weak
hits.
point of many men.
That hits. You do notice that as you bite down on the ghost, you get kind of like this weird kind of cold, ashy flavor in your mouth, which is not doing well with your heightened canine senses. And you do surprisingly though still like seem to bite down on something. You were really know you didn't really know what to expect with a incorporeal form like this ghost. Effectively, you did 3 points of damage to the ghost as it is resistant to your bite damage. It is, however, immune to prone, so it's you aren't able to knock the spectral form prone. Um, so while Dark is distracting the ghost, Ray, what do you do? Seeing how you're the one up on the counter.
Can I
If Morgul could
reach the
flip you
raven?
off, he would.
Can I reach the raven?
Um, the space between the bars on the birdcage seems to be a little too small for your feline paw to go through, almost like it's meant to keep predators out of the cage.
What?
You do see that there is a small latch on the outside that you can try to jiggle open with your cat paw.
Can I try to jiggle open the lock?
All right, make a dexterity check.
I was expecting you to channel your cat there. Something on a counter.
Just knock it over.
Okay.
Just knock it off the counter. That's what
All
cats
right.
do.
You're able to get the cage open. Do you boop the raven?
I booped the raven. Next.
All right.
Poe. Boop the
You
raven.
gently touch somebody. I smacked Dark across the face.
All right. So, Ophelia, as you are flying away from this undead horde that has given chase to you, looking down below, all you see is this mass of gnarled limbs and harrowing moans. And then suddenly a flash of light catches your sight ahead of you, and as you look above, the sky just seems to part, and what looks to be an angel comes drifting down towards you. This tall, pale woman, and Ray, as you flutter down on your wings, you see a small girl with black feathered wings and dirty black hair flying towards you, and the two of you just seem to meet in the air.
I reach out for her hand and say, Ophelia, I need you to wake up. There's
I can't talk right now. I have to go.
Ophelia, you can trust me. I promise. This is just a dream. You need to wake up.
He's gonna hurt me.
He can't hurt you anymore. It's going to be okay. Please, will you trust me?
Ray, make a persuasion check.
Open the correct sheet.
Yes,
cat.
with your normal stats, not your cat stats.
My people stats. What with my like -4 charisma? Sorry, it's only -2.
All right. So, the words of this angel seem to reach you, Ophelia, and you realize who this angel is. It's your friend Ray, come to save you. And as that memory comes back, all the other memories come back of all the adventures that you've gone on, and everything else. And as you come to realize that this dream is not real, you start to see the skies just dissipate and the undead horde just drifts away and your vision fades. And as you wake up, you seem to be sitting in the middle of a large bird cage, and right in front of you, their paw reaching in through a latch in the bird cage is a small cat, an ocelot. And you can see what looks to be you're in like a giant kitchen, and uh, there's a spectral giant in front of you, and it seems to be trying to shake something loose off of its foot. As you look down, there's a small wolf pup that's just clinging to this weird giant's foot, and it's a lot to take in. And
Um,
as you kind of like rub your head, like your face with your hand, you realize you don't have a hand, you have a wing.
yeah. So you're a raven. It's me. It's Ray. I'm a
What
cat,
the
and
fuck?
Morgul's a snake around here somewhere, and Dark's the wolf pup, and the druid's here somewhere. It's weird. Things are weird.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Why does he have a chef's hat?
I don't. I haven't been thinking about it too hard.
Let's just get out of here. I'm just.
Run!
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is a telepathic conversation. You could speak normally.
Oh, well, that ruined the fun. Run!
Maybe we'll
Also, maybe
Okay.
do that.
She's gonna like just try to fly.
All right, it's a little weird flying with your arms instead of your back muscles like you're used to, but you're used to flying, so it's not that big of a change for you.
Alright.
And you just go flying away through the birdcage.
I'm being honest. I'm totally expecting Ray to just channel her inner cat while she's on this.
Just like
Can I,
jump
knock,
over.
can I knock something over as I jump off the table?
Sure. Yeah, you as you go to jump off the counter, you kind of knock what looks to be like a cutting board, and it goes flying off. What you didn't see was lying on the cutting board was a large cleaver that just goes flying off and hits the ghost in the back of the head. It's still alive, but it's hurting now, and it's just like, "Oh, confound it! Get off of me, you crazy animal!" And like as it's kind of like waving Dark away, it's like, "Wait a second, I'm a spirit," and then it just like backs away through the wall, and Dark, you find yourself just like pinned against the side of the counter as the ghost just disappears away through the wall, leaving you all alone in this kitchen.
I'm gonna run out.
All right, let's just get the fuck out of here.
Probably wise.
Oh,
Druid,
my wolf pup took off.
we're
I'm
all
running
back
out.
together again. Now what?
Great! I'm almost there. I should be there soon.
Cool.
Cool.
Try to get somewhere out in the open where I can find you.
What should we be? Are you? Are you also an animal? What? Maybe I should have asked this question earlier.
It's kind of complicated.
Cool.
Okay, let's Wasn't there a large courtyard in this castle?
You did
Yeah.
see a large courtyard through the main entrance that the drawbridge would have led to if it existed.
So just go back to the drawbridge then.
Well,
You know,
you
if
didn't
there
you
was
didn't have a
one.
way of getting across before, but now you're in the castle, so you might be able to find a way to the courtyard from the kitchen.
I was thinking just head back to the drawbridge area thing.
Well, I mean, Ophelia can fly. Can she scout out a way to
Yeah, I can look around.
fly out the window?
I will do
All right.
that.
Sure. So, Ophelia, you find a window in the kitchen and go flying out, and you can see that there's a bit of a way. Kind of, you go flying up, and you can see that this castle just seems to be in the middle of like this weird vortex of green mist with all these like earth mounds kind of like jutting down as if like they're threatening to crush the castle from every side, and yet the castle still remains there untouched, a bit run down. A couple of the stone walls are a bit ruinous, but not but still mostly intact. And you can see that there is um a courtyard a bit of a ways from the window that you originally flew out in, and as you swoop down to get a closer look at the courtyard, you can see the form of the ghost cook moving its way up to a large pair of double doors that lead deeper into the castle. And as you um, swoop down, you hear him say, Master, please let me in. There's these strange creatures that are attacking me in the kitchen. Oh, confound it. What was that phrase before? And he kind of sits there thinking for a second before finally saying, oh, yes. Doors open like the skin of my enemies when I cut through them. And with that, the large doors creak inward and open, and he drifts in between the crack in the door, and then the door closes behind him.
Couldn't he?
All right.
So,
I'll go relay the information along with the phrase.
all right. So you relay the information to them as well as the phrase, and with that, and kind of like some clever meandering through the castle rooms, you eventually make all of you make your way to the courtyard.
So I guess we just wait for the druid.
Seems like the next step.
Yeah, Ophelia's gonna circle, make sure that everything's fine.
All right. So this group of small animals just kind of sit there in the middle of the courtyard, and a couple minutes later, you see uh, a large kind of what looks like a large cloud just it seems to stand out among the green haze because it's not green itself. It looks more like a cloud from your world, and it just seems to swoop down there. And the druid says, "Hey everyone, I made it. This will just take a moment for me to revert back." And about a minute later, he materializes back into his normal half elf form in front of you. It's like, so how are we doing?
Oh,
Could be better, honestly. But you know,
we're
for all
animals.
intents and purposes.
It's about as good as it looks.
She
Could be
doesn't-
worse.
I'm
Don't
fine.
forget, Dark is not the biggest fan of this guy.
So he's like, I'm fine.
Could be could be worse, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there are worse things I could be, but
I mean, I kind of wish I had hands, honestly.
I wish I had hands too.
Well,
So do I.
if we're successful, we should be all able to make it back to the prime plane. But our business isn't concluded yet. Uh, I went by this castle earlier. It seems that there's a strong kind of presence within this castle. I have a feeling that that's what we have to deal with.
Yeah,
now
they look
Alright,
very more up there.
we.
Alright. I don't know how much use will be in our current state, honestly.
Well, I wouldn't underestimate yourselves. You were all able to make it here with no problems.
Yeah, we didn't have to fight anything. I mean, Morgul swam, I dug a hole and flipped open a latch. Like, it's dark
And
as
you,
I'd
people.
been a ghost.
yeah, and you knock
I'm
something off
ready
the
to
table.
leave.
Oh, I did knock something off the table, that's true. But none of these really seem like combat handy skills.
Yeah, not really.
At most, I can hide in a hole. I'm gonna be honest.
Well,
Well,
everyone has to start somewhere. When the first time I came here, I wasn't able to keep my normal form either. But after coming here a few times, I've been able to get the hang of it, and all it takes is practice. And I'm sure all of you will eventually get back to your normal forms.
Great.
cool.
It's not, it's not much of a hassle to, tell us how the hell you did what you did. Then
Well, would you believe that all you have to do is just concentrate?
No.
Well, then I won't tell you that.
if I could facepalm, I would.
I'll do it for you.
The wolf pup just closes his eyes and concentrates.
Same here. I
Yeah.
think we all.
All right, you all take a moment of quiet reflection, but it doesn't really seem to work. And after a moment of concentration, you all open your eyes again, and you are still animals.
Ray looks down at her cat paws, says, which one of my cat toes is the middle one?
I was just thinking the same thing, but with dog paw.
At least you have appendages where you can do that.
It's true. All right. So what should we do now? We make a plan that plays to our strength, or
I mean, I feel like we need to go follow that ghost.
Yes, I feel we need to enter this castle. I guess we should just proceed then. And he starts walking towards the door.
Morgul will follow.
All right.
Yep.
If I can, I'm just gonna go up his leg and just make my way towards his shoulder.
Okay.
Because
He
that
sees
is
you do. He sees you doing it like, whoa, that's a little too personal there, buddy. And he just kind of grabs you and puts you on his shoulder that way.
Ophelia's only used to flying for a minute at a time, so she's gonna hop for a few minutes, and then she's gonna be like, shit, I can fly.
you just realize that I can fly indefinitely here.
So the druid walks up to the big double doors and pushes on them, and then nothing happens. It's like 1 second, pushes on them again.
There's a passcode.
I think there seems to be a problem.
There's a passcode.
Oh, really? What's the passcode?
Doors open like the skin of my enemies as I cut through them, I think.
Gruesome. All right. Doors open like the skin of my enemies as I cut through them. Nothing happens. Are you sure that's right?
It was
I'm
something.
pretty sure.
I don't know. I can't write anything down.
He says it again, and once again, nothing happens.
It's weird. We literally heard him just use the passcode.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of like a double security measure where only someone that is allowed in can, when they say the passcode, it opens. Kind of like you have to be let in by someone who belongs here.
Well, that's
Could be.
shitty. Hmm.
Is it possible we can do the old find a window and unlock from the other side?
Maybe, but I don't know how Ophelia would be able to open the large doors from the inside if she was to find a window.
Yeah. It's a little
It
tricky.
seems like it's going to be a multi-animal affair.
Although I could use a stick with my beak.
I'm gonna be honest, as a raven, you are quite intelligent.
Proficient with tools.
Yes. Proficient
Yeah.
with stick.
Considering there's a raven in my area that wields a knife,
Well,
I
Mm,
mean,
Wait. Ophelia, so you're a raven.
uh-huh.
By chance, did you hear the ghost say the passphrase?
Yeah.
Do me a favor.
Uh,
You say the passphrase and say it. Try as you say it. Try to sound like the ghost.
no.
she's a raven, not a mockingbird.
Well, just humor me.
We're all corvids in the end.
Okay. She'll try it. I'm not fucking doing that, Mike. So
That's fine. I just needed you as the character to say
yes,
you do
she
it.
is. She will do that.
All right. So, Ophelia's raven mouth kind of opens and says the passphrase, and as she does, it's not her voice, it's not anyone else's voice, it's the ghost's voice comes out of her mouth and says the passphrase. And it's kind of shocking to you too, Ophelia. You were not expecting that. And then suddenly the doors shudder and creak open.
Alright then.
Shit.
Let's get moving then.
Yeah, Ophelia hops in very slowly.
All right. And then the druid says, "Perfect! I knew you could do it," and confidently strides in.
I'm just gonna keep riding this guy's shoulder.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever done, and I've done a lot of weird things.
It was a little uncomfortable. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm surprised you're popping. Like, you have wings that you can indefinitely use right now.
Look, I keep forgetting. They'll
All
start flying.
So, you all make your way inside the ruins of this castle.
Wait, were we having a game tonight?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
I'm
Hi-
so
hi,
sorry.
David.
You're good.
It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we're a little too deep into it in order to bring your character in, but
No, it's
you're-
fine. I just last I had saw it looked like there wasn't gonna be one, and then I never got a notification, and yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
I'm just
I sent out a message earlier today that asked everyone to send me a spirit animal if they were planning on playing tonight. So that
yeah.
should have been enough to let you know. I even tagged the post so that it would show up, but oh well.
It all works
But
out.
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I
it's fine.
fucking my internet's been acting like shit. If it's alright, I'll just sit and listen in and mute.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right. So back to the game. So you guys walk in, um, and you come into this dark, grungy-looking throne room. Uh, 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 and it's kind of like barely lit by these long used candles that are like barely lit, the wax just dripping off of the candelabras that they're part of. And at the far end of this long throne room is what looks to be a man in flowing black robes that has kind of like a jester mask on. And as you all walk in, he says, "Well, well, well. Welcome everyone to my current abode. It's been so long since I've seen all of you.
Mm.
Although I might say I prefer your current appearances."
If I sort of say over our connection, like, um, if I had hands, I would fucking punch this guy in the face.
I'm not gonna say anything in response.
Same.
Cackler.
Yeah.
Disapproving cackler.
I'll give him snake,
Dark's
stink
just
eye.
growling.
I'll just give him the stink eye as a snake.
Snake sting guy.
The snake is not amused.
It's just
Well, seeing how you've so rudely come into my castle, what is it that you want from me? To which the druid says, "Oh, come now, you know what we want. You curse these fine people. They had absolutely nothing to do with you, and just because you wanted to, you decide to fuck with their lives. We're here to change that." He says, "Well, you know how much I love games, and they were being a little rude coming into my house in the other place. You know, they came all the way down to her prison. I was surprised to see mortals so deep." And he kind of, the druid kind of looks at you guys, but doesn't really say anything. And he says, "I don't care what game you decided to play with them, it ends today." And he says, the masked man says, "Oh, come now. You used to love games. You're the one that taught me about this place. I love it here. I can change it however I like." And he says, the druid says, "Yes, it's true that I brought you here so long ago, but we came as friends. This was my home. You're the one that is rudely living in it now. So it is you that needs to listen to me, and I say, end it, Tory. And at that point, the masked man stands up from his chair, and you see the kind of jester mask suddenly shift as like it looks like his whole head just seems to like rotate on his neck, and out of his cloaked hood a second mask come. This one has an angry face,
Ugh,
still in that same kind of jester porcelain style, and
thank you.
he completely says, "Don't call me that!
Morgul
My
is
name
thoroughly
is the
lost.
Crawling King. You will address me as so." And the druid says, "King? King of what? Slugs? You're a disgrace to your kind. You're terrible. Everyone hates you. You're not even allowed to go to the surface anymore. You need to wallow in the shadows of the Underdark." And he says, "I am the lord of this castle, and you will obey me." To which the druid says, "You're the lord of this castle, maybe, but you're not the lord of this realm. That's me." And the druid slams down his staff, and a rippling shockwave goes flying out. It hits all of you. It hits the Crawling King. It hits the castle. And with the shockwave, the castle just seems to evaporate away, and you all find selves standing on what looks to be a field. There's still a little bit of like the a little bit of like crumbling walls uh amidst the grass, but the kind of weird vistas, all the flying moats, they're completely gone now. The weird green haze completely gone, just clear blue skies above. And uh in front of you, where the Crawling King, this kind of humanoid form was, you see him in his true form. The large, kind of gargantuan centipede-like slug form, with his humanoid face at the front, and you can see this easily now. And you look around, and all of you are back in your normal humanoid forms, no longer animals. And the druid continues, "You are no longer welcome in this land. You need to leave and go back to your own home." To which the Crawling King, kind of like, there's like power in the druid's words. It's surprising that someone has so much power. And you can see the Crawling King just kind of like shrink back from his words. And the Crawling King says, "Well, if you really want me to leave, I'll go, but..." And his humanoid face just seems to like change, and it's no longer the face of the human man that he was before. The face that you see now is the face of Sariel. And he says, "Don't you want her back too?" And with that, there's like a moment of hesitation with the druid, and you see him clutch his staff harder. And the Crawling King says, "I propose a contest. You and I will sit this one out, and your lackeys that you have brought here will face a champion of mine, a champion that I found in this realm, one that you tried to hide far away, but I found it. If they are able to defeat it, I will leave this realm, never to come back, and I will end the curse on all of them, including the ones back in the Prime Plane. How does this contest sound to you? And you hear the druid's voice in your mind, and he says, "Look, guys, I don't like it, but if there's one thing I know about this guy is he follows his own rules. I'm not going to make you participate, but I think this might be the only way to get Farron's wife back.
Are
What do you
we
all say?"
are we ourselves or are we still animals?
Yes, you are back in your humanoid forms. You're Azamar, you're human, you're Drow. You're still telepathically linked, however, so that's how the druid is speaking to you now.
Cool.
Yeah, I imagine like from being a snake on his shoulder to being a drow standing next to him.
Yeah, you
No, you're
yeah,
spit on his
when you
shoulder.
when you shifted back to Drow form, you weren't still on his shoulder. You just kind of like fell off his
Otherwise, this
shoulder,
would be a
and
very
That would've been
awkward,
hilarious.
you're
dramatic.
now standing next to him. It was a
Otherwise,
little
would've-
too dramatic of a moment to cut the tension with, oh, the drow is just sitting on his shoulder now.
Yeah,
So.
I was about to say, like, this is way too much of a dramatic scene for this to be undercut by the drow just crushing the drow.
But Ophelia's just gonna telepathically say, I feel like no matter what, we're gonna lose. Even if we win, we lose.
I'll make sure that doesn't happen.
In the end, we'll have won a battle, but probably not the war, but at least we will have accomplished something here.
Listen, I know his ways. I know he'll try to play dirty, but there's nothing stopping me from playing dirty too. I can counteract him. I can make sure the contest is fair.
He did say you couldn't interfere, but that doesn't mean that you can't do anything to him.
True, but
And he promised to make sure that you couldn't interfere, but he said nothing about that he couldn't. Alter the rules
Yeah.
to where he can't interfere either, and then you got a deal.
Agreed.
Yeah, he said you couldn't interfere with the contest. Doesn't mean you can't interfere with him.
it's good thinking. He speaks aloud now, and he says, "Well, we agreed to this contest if you do not interfere at all as well. You and I will both move to a secondary location, and we will watch from a distance as this contest is done. And if at any point you try to interfere, I will put you down myself." And the Crawling King says, "Oh, of course I wouldn't interfere. That wouldn't be fun, now would it?"
Well,
And
a contest of champions. This is interesting.
the druid kind of not exactly happy about it, but turns to all of you and telepathically says, "Well, good luck. But honestly, I don't think you guys will need it. Let's say from what I've seen of you guys, I'm sure you can handle it, whatever it is he throws at you."
Okay.
In the time you've seen him, Morgul is like, this is like the most confident he's been in a while. So you see him like adjusting himself, like cracking his neck, getting ready, and he's like, over the link, he's like, "This is probably the most interesting thing you guys have drawn me into, and I'm totally all for it." He's like, "Finally, recognition."
Give it time.
I'm gonna be honest. You have like, this is like a bucket list item. He's finally got to cross off, like Contest of Champions. Check.
like Terry and Darrington just having a long list of things. Just save a maiden.
Not like that. It's more or less like just general life goals that he wants to achieve. This being one of them. Being in a contest of.
Kill the champion of a god. Check.
Perfect.
Well, if everything is satisfactory, shall we adjourn then? And you just kind of hear the druid just kind of grumble under his voice, and suddenly the two of them are just gone. And the four of you are standing in this kind of open field with the foundations of the ruined castle littering the grass, and I will bring you onto the map and let you guys get in whatever positions you would like to be in. Oh, that's the wrong map. 1 second. Yep.
Not gonna lie, this is like the one fight I'm actually looking forward to.
All right.
So scared.
I'm spooked.
But I'm proud of myself that the awkward giggling hasn't kicked back in yet.
Not yet.
All right. And also, all of you guys would be at full health and full abilities because, like, your stats in the material plane aren't the same stats here, except for Morrigal because you used that hold person earlier.
Yeah, I use that 1 second level spell.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that you're down.
And you all suck!
And Josh just walked in.
This is the guy who's not
Hello,
even in the
Josh.
game.
Hi, Josh. Been a while.
They say hi. All right,
Watch
so
the stream and laugh.
all right, so yeah, you guys are in this kind of these ruins. Go ahead and place yourselves however you would like as you wait for the Crawling King's champion to arrive.
That was here? Now it's here.
Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. This is what you're missing out on.
You missed a lot of great stuff.
It was like, okay, yeah. And we're just like, okay, what?
All right.
He missed Morrigal having an exchange with Ray as an ocelot and a snake.
You missed a really great book report. On the one.
You did miss a really good book.
All right. Everybody,
Right, three
everybody's
people had to run
satisfied
for their
before
lives.
they're at.
Right, 3 people had to run for their lives, and someone had to deliver a book report. Dark, I can't heal you from that distance.
Yeah, just let me know when you're all satisfied with where you're at on the map.
Sorry. Morgul and I were in too much of a straight line. No, I don't want to be in a straight line with you.
I'll get behind this wall then.
Just don't anybody wind up trying to be close to the guy. If they can help it, at least to
Some
start.
of my abilities require being close to people.
Yeah,
Well,
most
don't
of
be
mine
with-
do too.
If you can help it, don't be within 20 feet of him for a minute.
Like an
Like a
actual
whole minute?
Okay,
Or-
like at the beginning.
Okay.
Just
Like
let
a
me
few
shoot
seconds?
him once.
Okay. Alright.
All right, everybody satisfied?
Yep.
Enough.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. So, as you all sit there, waiting for whatever creature you are to be faced with, you hear a sound on the wind. A sound like the jingling of chains. You can't quite tell what direction it's coming from. And then coming over one of the ruins of one of the remaining foundations of this castle, you see this grotesque amorphous blob just making its way over the stonework, levitating with several chains hanging down, weird faces looking in every direction. And as it looks at all of you, it lets out a deep moan. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
Woo!
Slightly above average.
Woo.
I'm probably gonna be going last. I know it.
You gotta beat Ophelia first.
If Morgul's going first, this is gonna be weird.
Hey, Ophelia.
Wow, I'm second. What the fuck?
I mean, think of all of the people that we're missing currently, and it makes
True.
more sense.
Yeah.
All right, Morgul, you're first.
Which, as a player, it's weird. The cleric going first.
Quite.
I mean, again, look at the distribution of everybody remaining, and
Alright, I'm gonna check real quick the distance on.
So you moved, and now what's your action?
I don't have range on him for Bane yet, do I?
What's the range on Bane?
30 feet?
Yeah, he's way farther than 30 feet.
Yeah,
Alright.
you're about 50.
What are you doing, Morgul?
I'm gonna do a guiding bolt.
You doing a what?
Guiding bolt, I've got 240-foot range on that.
Yeah, totally. Go ahead and roll the attack on that. All right. That will definitely hit for 16 points of radiant damage.
And Dark, you'll have advantage on him.
Yep. Your Dark's first attack will have advantage.
Alright, I'm gonna check my bonus actions real quick.
All right. And then at the end of your turn, Morgul, well,
I
actually,
will
let
also
me...
summon my spiritual weapon as my bonus action.
Oh, sure. Then go ahead and make an attack with your spiritual weapon. Because I believe it's 60 feet on that, so you can summon it right next to him.
Will that hit?
Oh, I just noticed that you have your advantage toggled at the moment.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah. The 20 on the guiding bolt, that was the first one, so that one will still hit. But the second one for the spiritual weapon is a 19. 19 will just barely hit.
Alright.
So you deal 9 points of damage.
Okay.
All right. And then, Morgul.
Yep.
At the end of your turn, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw. As this creature suddenly starts chanting something quickly at the end of your turn, and you feel a presence start to invade your mind.
Alright. Rolling for... The first one was a 3.
No, the first one's the 15.
Oh, you'll take the 15.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
it's
like-
the one on the left. But like you can toggle off advantage.
Yeah, I gotta
You
turn
should
it
be able
off.
to
Sorry.
do. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, that is a fail. You take 11 points of psychic damage. And your intelligence and charisma scores are reduced to 1.
Uh-oh.
You can't cast
Oh, no.
spells or activate
Uh-oh.
magic items. You don't understand language, and you can't communicate in any intelligible way.
Uh-oh.
One of you better have a restoration handy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let me get on that.
Let me see.
Otherwise, you're screwed.
So would this be considered boss fight music?
Lucky
This would
for
be considered
Morgul.
boss fight music, yes.
Lucky for Morgul. I have shit prepared.
All right.
Can I still make a save for concentration?
Concentrating on what?
The spiritual weapon?
Oh, spiritual weapon's not concentration. You just have that.
Oh, I can still use that.
Yeah, that's you already cast it. It's like if you just can't cast any more spells is the problem.
All right.
Dark. It is your turn. You have advantage on your first attack.
And I can see him from where I'm at. And is that a little wall near me?
Yeah, but the walls aren't high enough that you can't see over. Like some of them
But I
do
could use
go
them for
higher
cover.
than others. Oh yeah, you can use it for cover.
Good.
Yeah. Ooh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Blah, blah, blah. Ah, doing the bursting shot. Nice.
That's why I didn't want anybody to be close.
And isn't that also technically double?
The bursting shot would also be doubled, yes. So go ahead and roll just the damage again on that.
I'll just click it again.
Yeah. So...
In fashion.
It is, however, immune to poison damage. So that will be 31 piercing plus 13 force, so 44 points of damage. All right. And at the... Oh, wait. It's still your turn, Dark.
Yes,
Sorry,
it is.
just your first shot. My bad. Go ahead.
Damn it.
Second one will miss. And third
Fuck
one
you,
will
roll
miss.
20.
Action surge. Saw that coming. Alright, that 19 will just barely hit. 12 will miss. And 28 will hit. Good call, taking off the sharpshooter.
Yeah, the missing is starting to piss me off.
Yeah. Alright,
Just
so
trying to
that
do
will be another 37 points of damage.
And I will duck behind this wall.
Alright. So, at the end of your turn, Dark, it can no longer see you. So, it's going to use 2 legendary actions to use its Warp Creature ability.
Oh.
Oh.
So, I need Ray, Ophelia, and Morgul to all make Constitution saving throws.
Yike.
Thankfully, I still have.
But I like it back here.
Doesn't look like it's gonna be staying. Glad I used the cover though.
Actually, even though it's called warp creature, it has absolutely nothing to do with moving you.
And it's the other kind of warping.
Yep. So,
Move me.
alright.
This is fun for 4 people.
So, Ray, you succeeded on the save. So, you are unaffected by the warp creature ability and are now immune to the ability, so it can never try to use this ability against you again.
Yes.
As for Ophelia and Morrigal,
Haha.
both of you are considered poisoned, meaning you have disadvantage on, I think it's just attacks. I'm not sure actually. Let me double check.
One second, I'm gonna check armor stats.
Attack rolls and ability check.
It's just attack
Nope.
rolls.
It's a poison creature has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability check.
Attack rolls and ability checks.
Yep.
So there you go. Yeah, you guys are poisoned. Both of you also gain 1 level of exhaustion.
Yay.
Yeah. So, on top of the disadvantage you get for being poisoned, you also have disadvantage on ability checks from being exhausted. And then that was at the end of Dark's turn, so now it is its turn. It is going to drift through the air another 20 feet. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Which puts it just within 15 feet of Ophelia. Alright, so, first, it's actually going to make like a weird, like really weird sounding gurgling sound. And out of one of its many mouths comes this, like, jet of bile that just goes flying over you, Ophelia, to hit Ray. Ray, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh, those aren't good.
You got this. That's what people say to me right before I roll on that one. How's it feel?
Well, I failed it.
Yep, yes you did.
Pretty sure
I'm
you did.
not close enough to try to succeed it, so.
So you look up at the worst possible time, as this jet of like stomach acid like hits you right in the chest, and you take 41 points of acid damage.
Okay.
Oh, my roll 20 might be frozen.
That's cool.
Oh, no, I'm stuck on my ruler, that's why. 41 you.
41 points of acid damage.
Yeah, that was fun, guys. That was totally not half my health.
No, it definitely wasn't half. It was more than half.
Only 5.
Alright. And then the bulbous creature levitating above you, Ophelia, starts to spin around, and the chains hanging from it start to spin with it, and 3 chains come flying towards you. First one misses, just easily bouncing off your armor. Same thing with the second. What's your armor class?
Thank you.
20 what?
22.
22.
All right. The third one, however, hits you right in the neck, and you take what's that?
I just made it. I just went.
Oh, okay. And you take 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And it is now your turn, Ophelia.
Yay! Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and take an attack.
Oh,
And,
sorry. At the beginning of your turn, I
boy.
need you to make another Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Yippee.
All right. So, now that it has moved closer to you, you can catch this horrible scent coming off of it. And you take another 12 points of poison damage just from being close to it.
Okay.
Also, apparently this poisonous cloud around it is so bad that you stumble through. If you move at all, you have to stumble your way through the cloud. So the ground around it is effectively difficult terrain. I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it.
Great.
Yep.
That ruins my turn.
And
It'll be
I
like-
actually need you to make a second Constitution saving throw as
Holy
well.
shit.
All right, you succeeded on one. That's good.
Yay.
You feel your immune system start to fight back against the this poison feeling that it had put through your body previously. I guess that the thing that made you exhausted. It's that is happening now. All right, now it's your turn. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm still exhausted? Is that what you're saying?
You still have one level of exhaustion. You can just feel your body starting to fight back against the contagion.
Okay. So, alright. I pretty much need to move.
Yeah. So difficult.
Right there. I think.
Is that with your? You only have 30 feet of movement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that 15 feet? All right, then. Yeah, that's all of your movement.
Okay, I'm gonna cast harm on it.
All right.
Yes, fuck it.
All right. What? It's a con save.
Yes.
All right.
Alright. It's gotta beat 17.
I rolled a natural 20.
Cool. It takes half then, I think.
Yep, half. So what's the damage? 14d6 halved.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll that damage for me. Alright, so halved is 22 points of damage.
Woo! And, I suppose she will go ahead and cast... She'll do a spiritual weapon on it at... I guess just a second level.
It has to be second level or lower.
Yeah, second level.
So I think it's a second level spell. So yeah, it has to be a second level.
Yeah.
All right, and 26 will hit for 6 points of damage.
Woo.
And then you all hear in your head, Don't worry, guys. The Crawling King just tried to heal his creature. I think it's on its last leg. But I stopped him, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Still telepathically linked, by the way. I don't know if you realize that.
We
You
get
don't
it.
even hear. You don't even hear. You just.
Yeah, it's like, how's it going there, Morgul? And it's just like, it's just like a dial tone sound.
You just. You
No, it's
sort
the
of reverts.
AOL
It's
internet
like-
connecting sound.
Oh yeah.
Dial-up connecting.
Oh god.
Like
Fuck
he
that
hears
sound.
animalistic drow coming out of
Yeah.
Morgul. He sort of reverted to like a feral drow at this point.
All right. Is that the end of your turn, Ophelia?
Yes.
All right. At the
Like
end of
I'm
your
coming,
turn.
Morgul.
At the end of your turn, I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Yay.
Okay, never
Oh
mind.
boy.
All right.
Spell charge zombies, not that bad. This thing, screw this thing.
All right. You only
Smart guy.
take you only take 7 points of psychic damage. Not a lot. And your intelligence and charisma modifiers are reduced to 1. You can't cast
Yay.
any spells, activate magic items, understand language, or communicate in any intelligible way.
Well, guys, it's up to you.
If
Both your
Ray gets hit
clerics are
first,
gone.
we're in trouble.
Oh my gosh, Dark, this is not good.
Both
All
your
right.
clerics are gone.
Ray, it's your turn.
Well. Forget anything else I was gonna do.
Attack and hide.
It's my plan. Hold on, I gotta make sure I'm close enough to it now. I'm also gonna cast Harm.
Okay.
Which apparently neither of us have set it up to actually roll damage.
I think it's
Way to
just
go,
because
guys.
I think I just dragged it over from the spell list, and usually it does it, but this time apparently not.
Weird. What's the DC on
Seven-
that?
17.
17? Alright, I rolled an 18.
I'm gonna spend a sorcery point to re-roll some of those 4 ones.
Alright. Go ahead and roll another 46. So 31 plus 16 is 47. Divided by 2 is 24. It is not looking too good.
Alright, I'll cast Spiritual Weapon. That's not gonna hit. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that'll miss. And is that the end of your turn?
I'm gonna go duck behind this wall. 10,
Alright.
20, 25, and I'm just gonna crouch down and try to hide.
Alright, you duck out of sight, which is a good thing because the spell does require to see your target.
Oh, thank God.
So it is not going to do that. It is instead,
Don't you just love feeble mind?
I
at
love
the end at the end of your turn, it is going to spit some more bile over at let's go at Ophelia, nice and close. So Ophelia, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
I'll bring you back to life.
Isn't it disadvantage?
No, saving throws are fine. It's that
Oh,
it's just
just
attacks
ability
and
checks.
It's
ability
fine,
checks.
guys. I have a -1. It's fine.
Oh,
I was just about to say, what could go wrong?
It's fine.
ugh.
Once
A lot of
again,
things
fuck
have
you, roll 20.
It's just a 0.
All right, Ophelia, you take 32 points of acid damage.
Oh, good.
It's fine, guys.
All right, and now it is Morgul's turn.
Alright, seeing as
AOL
how he's
connections
reverted
not
to one thing you see now is Morgul has sort of crouched down. He's sort of got his sword. Sort of. He's definitely reverted to a feral drow. So
Sure.
at this point, he's running on pure instinct, and as far as he
at the-
knows, there's a
Yep. At the beginning of your turn, though, you have to make 2 Constitution saving throws. One for this terrible kind of aura around this creature, and the other one for your body to fight off the poison that is coursing through your veins.
Okay.
So, first one. That is a fail. So you will take 16 points of poison damage. And that second one is also a fail. So you take another point of exhaustion. You are now down up to 2 points of exhaustion. Which I believe that halves your speed.
Yep.
Yep, and so halves your speed. On top of that, you are also in difficult terrain because you're within 30 feet of it. Everything within 30 feet of it is difficult terrain.
So essentially, I'm moving at like 1/4 speed.
Essentially, yeah.
As far as the feral drow that is Morrigal, he's going to just move towards
Alright.
the giant threat in front of him because the only thing going through his mind now is kill the big.
Kill
Yep.
the big ugly.
So yeah, just move like 5 feet towards him, and then on your next turn you can move 10 feet.
Oh, he would dash, so that'd be like 10 feet.
Oh yeah, then yeah, go the other 10. So yeah, it would be 10. It would be if you were dashing, then you would move 15 feet. So yeah, go. You have one more space of movement.
So
There
like
you go.
right in front of Ophelia.
Yep, perfect.
I still have that spiritual weapon though, don't I?
You do still have your spiritual weapon that you can attack with as a bonus action because it's technically not casting a spell.
And all he has to do is think attack.
Attack. I have a plan. Attack. Alright, 12 is gonna miss. It just bangs harmlessly off of the creature's bulbous side. And at the end of your turn, Morgul, it is going to shoot a thing of bile at you as well. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. All right.
It's kind of messed up that in his most feral state, he's more like a drow warrior.
Yeah, it's funny. Unfortunately, you still fail, although just barely. So that is going to be 40 points of acid damage to you.
Oh my god.
It was nice knowing you guys.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can still raise one of you back to life.
If we win.
Please. If I live, I just need greater restoration on my mind.
I don't have that.
Ophelia's the only one who has that.
And she can't cast spells.
That's not what we put in the Ring of Spell storing. It didn't seem like it was going to be important enough.
Well, that's too high of a level to put into the Ring of Spell storing.
So it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, if we live, we got the druid.
And we
Yep.
were like, we have 2 or 3 clerics. That's fine.
All right. Well, that's gonna bring us to Dark's turn.
Right over here.
Yep, 27 will hit.
I think I'm gonna use that as a grasping shot.
Ooh. So another 7 poison damage, which doesn't do anything, but
It takes
his
2d6
speed is
slashing
reduced.
damage the first time on each turn it moves 1 foot or more without teleporting. So
All
if it
right.
tries to move.
All right. It's I guess it specifically says without teleporting, so I guess flying
Yep.
it would still take that damage. And that 31 will also hit, so that's 24 now. And 19 just barely hits for 17. How do you want to do this?
Yay! Whew.
Doesn't matter. Just hit him right in the chest.
He doesn't have a chest. He's just a bulbous form with several heads.
Then I'll hit it in the head on the right. Fuck it.
Okay. I mean, you have
one was
3
spitting the
bolts.
acid.
You can shoot like 3 different heads, one with each bolt.
Well, one in each head.
All right, sounds good. All right, so these crossbow bolts go flying towards this bulbous form, and headshot, and then the thing just kind of like groans for a bit before eventually falling down to the ground and starting to kind of drift away into pieces of dust. And as it does, you hear a shout just go, "No! It was supposed to kill them!" And you hear the calm voice of the druid say, "Well, Tori, looks like you lost at your own game."
But before
Now-
the druid would have said that, Dark would have yelled, "Tough shit!"
Sure.
Suck
You say
it.
that, and then Druid says that, and he says, "Now, get off my plane." And then there's just a earth-shattering crash, and you hear the crawling king yelling again, and then all of a sudden, there's just no sound. And then the druid is standing amongst all of you, and he says, "Well, it's been a while since I've saw that thing. That's thought I had that locked up, but looks like Tori found it."
And the quick question here is, are Ray and I the only ones that actually understand what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Ophelia's drawing. Ophelia's
Rich-
drawing shapes in the.
AOL dial tone connecting.
Yeah.
most
I guess the
all-year-
question is, do Ophelia and Morgul consider the druid a friend?
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, it's just you would hear him shouting a bunch of feral drow language.
Okay.
Like it's just
It-
obscene and
E-
crass. And
Well, even to the drow, it would be gibberish because you can't actually speak in any intelligible way. But the druid notices you guys, clearly feeble-minded, and he says, "Oh yeah, it does have that ability on people." And he comes over and lays a shoulder on both of you guys, and you feel your mental faculties restored to you.
fuck that thing. First thing you hear out of Moral's mouth, fuck that thing and all of its ancestors, and just screw this plane in general.
Well, its ancestors would be every mortal ever, because that thing is breeded from the nightmares of sleeping children.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, fuck that thing.
Ugh.
But, we did it. The Crawling King will no longer have a presence in this world, so we can go back, and you should all now no longer be cursed as well. And actually, when he says that, you do all notice that there is a considerable weight lifted off of your shoulders that you didn't notice was there until it's gone. And you all feel quite a bit better.
Where is he going?
Well, the thing about the Crawling King is that he's very hard to vanquish. He's got a foothold in just about every plane in the multiverse, and Yeah.
So just banishing him is not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, whenever you banish him from a hole, he just finds another one to crawl back to. But
Would that get rid of our exhaustion and poison condition?
technically no. Although a couple seconds later, I need both of you to make con saves again, as the effect is ongoing. So do that real quick.
1 second. Character sheet's having issues
One
with the
or two.
All right. So Ophelia, you are now up to 2 levels of exhaustion.
Cool.
Yeah, it was just the one con save because the creature's dead. There's no aura on it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Morgul, still need a con save from you.
Yeah, 1 second. Roll20 is being weird because it can't process the sharp friggin' the turns that the character sheet went in terms of score.
Gotcha. All right, and with that nat 20, you actually succeed and don't go higher than 2 levels of exhaustion, so you're fine. Seeing you guys are still pretty poisoned.
I was
the
gonna say
druid-
fucked up, but that works too.
Well, you're also fucked up, but the poison is the greater threat at the moment. The druid is then going to cast another spell on both of you guys. Oh, that's the one. And you, both of you are no longer poisoned, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. However, you're still exhausted. And he
Okay.
says, you know what? I still got a couple spell slots. I can take care of that for you guys. And he will also clear both of you of all of your levels of exhaustion. I just realized Greater Restoration is only a 5th level spell, so yeah, he can cast that a few times.
Thank you. Sucked.
Also, he heals both of you 70 hit points each.
Ooh.
All right. And he says,
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Can we just get the fuck out of here now?
yeah. Now that you guys look a little better, I'd say let's all wake up. And as soon as he says that, you're all back on the beach amidst the crowd of Ashari and Tritons. Everything is still frozen in time, and even with your joke earlier, Joe, all of you are actually still standing up, and you all come to consciousness.
Surprised you
And
remembered.
and the druid says, "Well, one last spell to cast," and he walks over to where Farron is clutching the mangled remains of Sariel, and casts his spell. And as soon as he's done casting it, time suddenly begins moving again, and you can see a little bit of color come back to Sariel's cheeks, and her missing body parts slowly regrow themselves over the next 2 minutes. Farron quickly covering the region below her waist as that suddenly it also regrows. So just realized that as I was saying, I was like, oh,
But the clothes doesn't come back
this
too.
this is a family show.
Is it
No,
though?
it's not.
Is it really?
Well, we're still not that bad.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Is it
still.
that bad?
Yep.
I don't know.
And Farron through his tears, starts thanking the druid profusely. And then coming up behind all of you, you see the form of Drock slowly shifting back into human size, say, "What's going on?" And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
Oh,
Oh.
we did it, you
Quick
guys.
question.
Yay.
Since that
It's,
was kind of like a dream-ish sequence, do I actually lose the bolts that I fired, or would I be able to get half of those back, or do none of those count? Or
None of those count. You
Okay.
did, like, they were dream bolts, so it's fine.
So I should have used the scrolls because I would have got those back too.
Or perhaps
but
you
you
would
would've
have
had to wait for me to
magically
get here.
or perhaps you would have found that the scrolls weren't actually with you in the dream world. Oh,
Yeah, I figured
weird.
that's why that they wouldn't be there. That's why I didn't bother using them.
All right. Well, good game, guys.
Yeah, that was
Damn.
loads of
Good game.
fun.
Good game.
Yeah, Morgan's gonna
Yeah,
need
that
a drink
was-
after that nightmare.
That was a real good set.
Dark will just hand you his flask.
Like, you made him relive his personal hell, yeah. He's gonna need a drink.
I relived one of my own.
Yeah, Josh, that's definitely a session you're probably going to want to listen to.
Oh, definitely.
Probably.
For sure.
It'll be up tomorrow night. About 8 o'clock is normally when I post them.
Yep. So I'll listen to it whenever I get the chance.
Yes. And on that note, I think I will end the recording and just go to the end screen and thank you, me, for watching.
All right. Thanks, Joe, for
Thanks-
watching.
thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Bye.
It's okay. It's on YouTube, so anybody can watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.